a hush fell over Mr. Harrison's fifth period science class, the kind of quiet that only happens when a teacher is truly angry. All eyes were on a young black student named Jamal, who stood at the front of the room, his shoulders slumped. He had just finished presenting his idea for the annual science fair, a concept he was visibly passionate about. But Mr. Harrison was not impressed. In fact, he looked utterly exasperated. "Is that it, Jamal?" Mr. Harrison asked, his voice dripping with condescension. He tapped a pen against his desk, the rhythmic clicking echoing the tense silence. "A self-watering system for urban gardens? How quaint." He let out a short, humorless laugh that made Jamal flinch as if he'd been struck. The teacher leaned back in his chair, a smug look on his face. Jamal clutched his hand-drawn schematics, the paper crinkling in his nervous grip. "I just thought, with the community garden downtown, it could help a lot of people," he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. He'd spent weeks researching, sketching, and refining his idea, believing it had real potential. He envisioned a system that could help families grow fresh produce with minimal effort. But Mr. Harrison waved a dismissive hand. "Jamal, let's be realistic," the teacher said, his tone sharp and cutting. "The science fair is for serious projects. Real science, not gardening hobbies." He gestured vaguely toward the other students. "We need projects that show ambition, that push boundaries. What you're proposing is a waste of time. It's hopeless." The word hung in the air. Hopeless. It landed on Jamal with the weight of a physical blow. A few students snickered from the back of the classroom, and Jamal's face burned with humiliation. He wanted the floor to swallow him whole. He had looked up to Mr. Harrison, had always thought his teacher would be the one to encourage his curiosity. He was wrong. Dejected, Jamal returned to his seat, shoving his drawings into his backpack. For the rest of the day, he couldn't shake the teacher's words. He replayed the scene in his head, each time feeling the sting of the insult fresh again. He considered giving up entirely, maybe just doing a simple baking soda volcano like some of his classmates. It would be easier. No one could call that hopeless. That evening, he sat at the kitchen table, staring blankly at his crumpled papers. His grandmother, a wise and gentle woman who had always been his biggest supporter, noticed his somber mood. "What's weighing on that brilliant mind of yours, sweet boy?" she asked, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. With a heavy heart, Jamal recounted the entire humiliating experience. He told her how Mr. Harrison had laughed at his idea, how the other kids had joined in, and how he felt like the smallest person in the world. He expected her to be angry at the teacher, but instead, she listened with a serene patience that calmed his racing heart. When he finished, his grandmother smiled softly. "Some people can't see the forest for the trees, Jamal," she said. "They see a small seed and can't imagine the mighty oak it will become. Your idea isn't hopeless. The only thing hopeless is a mind that's closed to new possibilities." Her words were like a balm to his wounded spirit, reigniting the spark Mr. Harrison had tried to extinguish. Inspired by his grandmother's unwavering faith in him, Jamal decided he wouldn't give up. He would prove his teacher wrong. He spent the next several weeks consumed by his project. His bedroom transformed into a makeshift laboratory filled with tubes, sensors, and small pots of soil. He read everything he could find about drip irrigation and soil moisture sensors. He learned to code, teaching himself how to program a small microcontroller to read data from the sensors and activate a water pump. There were countless nights he stayed up late, troubleshooting bugs in his code or fixing leaks in his tubing. His hands were stained with dirt and marked with small cuts, but he was more determined than ever. As the science fair approached, his project began to take shape. It was a compact, elegant system. A network of sensors embedded in the soil constantly monitored moisture levels. When the soil became too dry, the microcontroller sent a signal to a small, quiet pump, which delivered the perfect amount of water directly to the roots of the plants. The day of the science fair arrived. The school gymnasium was buzzing with energy, filled with students, parents, and judges. Jamal's project stood in a corner, unassuming yet functional. He watched as Mr. Harrison walked by, giving his display a cursory, dismissive glance before moving on to a more elaborate-looking volcano model nearby. Jamal's heart sank a little, but he took a deep breath and stood tall beside his creation. Throughout the day, a steady stream of people stopped at his table. They were intrigued by the simplicity and practicality of his invention. He explained how it could conserve water, reduce labor, and empower communities to grow their own food. The judges, a panel of local engineers and university professors, were particularly impressed. They peppered him with questions, not to challenge him, but to understand the depth of his knowledge. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The principal stood at the podium to announce the winners. After awarding third and second place, he paused for dramatic effect. And for first place, he announced, his voice booming through the gym, for a project that combines innovation, social responsibility, and brilliant engineering. Jamal Carter and his urban oasis system. A wave of shock, then thunderous applause, swept through the room. Jamal stood frozen for a moment, unable to believe what he had heard. He looked over at his grandmother, who was beaming with pride, tears welling in her eyes. As he walked toward the stage to accept his blue ribbon and trophy, he caught Mr. Harrison's eye. The teacher's face was a mask of pure disbelief, his mouth slightly agape. The story didn't end there. The school board was so impressed with Jamal's invention that they submitted it to a national STEM competition. News outlets picked up the story of the young inventor whose hopeless idea had the potential to change urban agriculture. His project was praised by national experts, and he received offers for mentorship from leading tech companies. Jamal had not only won the science fair, he had shown everyone, especially his teacher, that no idea is truly hopeless when it's fueled by passion and perseverance.